Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Crown, Memories with a Dream. I, Isha Kode, am your host, and I am the current reigning Miss Teen India worldwide. Last week, we celebrated Holi, and we hope everyone has a happy belated Holi. Let's welcome our special guest for this episode. She was the current Miss Teen India USA 2020. Let's welcome Sidhya Ganesh.
Hi, Isha. Thank you so much for having me here.
Hi, Sidhya. It's been so long since we met up, I feel like.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. And without further ado, I wanted to jump into pageantry because I feel like that's the one thing that has, it kind of brought us together, right? So I do want to talk about that. But for viewers who don't know, Sidhya was the youngest contestant ever, and she was also the youngest person to have ever won the crown. So why don't we talk about that actually? How does that feel to be the youngest person ever to have won the crown?
Okay, let me tell you something. When I went to compete at USA, I was 13, and most of the other contestants were like 16, 17, 18. So it was intimidating to say the least. But I think everyone was so supportive, and the environment was just so fun and so energetic, and things worked out at the end. So it truly feels amazing to be, able to win that title at that age. And it's really made me the person I am even now.
That's so sweet. And jumping off of, what you said about how everyone was supportive, I did want to ask you about how generally people think that pageantry is filled with competitive and jealous girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
But clearly both of us had very different experiences. So how would you refute that claim and tell people that that is not what pageantry is about at all?
Yeah, no, I would say one of my biggest takeaways from this entire pageant is the community I've built. Mm-hmm. No one here is trying to break each other down. And I think that's one thing which also makes the pageant so distinct. It's been a process of getting to know people and getting to know myself in turn even better through them. So I think I've met people who work in the police forces. I've met people who are building spacecraft. So it's an amazing array of women I've met. And I think everyone's really just trying to support each other and build each other up. So yeah, I think that itself refutes the claim that pageantry is trying to break each other down. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree. And I feel like I don't know, did you go into pageantry thinking that, you'd be intimidated and people would be so competitive?
So I initially signed up just so that I could be on stage, but it did seem like a whole new world for me. I had never been exposed to those many people. I'd never, been in that kind of an environment. So it was intimidating, a little intimidating at first, but when I got into it, everyone just made me feel so comfortable. And I think it really took my fears away.
Oh, that's so sweet to hear. But now that you're not the reigning Miss Teen India USA anymore, how can you sum up your year as Miss Teen India USA 2020 in one phrase, if you can?
One phrase. Now that's hard, Isha.
Yeah.
I would probably say eye-opening, because once again, I was 13 when I won. And my world was pretty much enclosed to my mom, my dad, and me, and a couple of friends here and there. But the community I've built is just incredible. And now I know someone in every state in the country, and I know that there's always going to be some girl out there for me. So I think that's been the biggest thing for me. Also, it's connected me to community service. So once again, it's opened my eyes to the capacity I have to help the world. So I think it's been life-changing, and eye-opening would be the way I would sum it up.
So what was the best part of your reign, you would say?
The best part of my reign, it's actually ironic, but I think crowning the next Miss Teen India USA, because, when I visited New Jersey last July to be part of the pageant, I saw all these young girls, and I could think back to exactly when I was in their shoes, or their high heels, I should say. And like that backstage, those nerves, and just being on stage and having that whole vibe going on. So that was really fun for me to be on the other side of things and watch them perform and everything. So yeah, that was probably my favorite part.
That's so sweet. On the flip side, what do you wish you did differently during your reign?
Okay, so my reign was definitely the COVID reign because 2020, 2021, both the years were kind of plagued by the pandemic. But I don't think there was anything I would want to change in specific because I think I kind of adapted my reign to the circumstances and I tried to make the most of it. If there was an external variable I would want to change, maybe not the pandemic, because then I would have had to go outside, I would have had more events. But I think, yeah, the impact I was able to make during the pandemic still justified my reign and gave it a purpose. So I'm happy with the way things turned out at the end.
I love that, and you did. I mean, the number of, like, COVID projects and service that you offered to your own local community through your reign, and also you were always active in that, department of your life.
Mhm.
So actually talk about that. Talk about the service that you provided for people during these trying COVID times.
Yeah, during the pandemic, I think for most of us, it was very hard when it came to mental health, first of all. We found it really hard to be enclosed within our homes. And one thing I thought about is that young kids would be finding it so tough to be trapped within four walls, especially at that age when, like when we were kids, we used to go outside and play and we had no fears in our minds. But these kids were raised in a completely different environment. So the first thing I thought about was how do we make this pandemic more fun for them? So I had some online classes where we taught them about forensics, crime solving, and all those fun stuff. And again, that just made them have something to look forward to every day. And we also really enjoyed teaching. So I think I was trying to spread positivity in whatever way I could. Now, of course, I wasn't able to solve the pandemic, but I tried to make it easier, like going to shelters, donating cupcakes, making food, just anything I could do to make an impact in that time.
It's so lovely to hear. I wish I had someone teaching me forensics when I was a child, because then I would have been so happy instead of just sitting in classrooms all day. But
Yeah,
what a great initiative that you started. Wonderful.
thank you.
But I wanted to ask you about, so I've been struggling with this sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, so much of my identity came from winning the pageant, right? And
Yeah.
having a reign and doing service through my reign. But now after, you pass down the crown, you sometimes wonder, you're like, okay, well, who am I now if I'm not Isha Kode, Miss Teen, blah, 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 whatever, right?
Mhm.
So have you ever struggled with that kind of like identity crisis, I want to say, now that you're no longer the reigning Miss Teen India USA?
No, I would certainly say so. And it happens to everyone at differing levels. Like for me personally, I was so used to saying, I'm Sidhya Ganesha reigning Miss Teen India USA. And it just became something which I would say. And, it gets really, it's an emotional process to hand down the crown because you have been associated with that title. But one thing I really had to tell myself is that I have become so much more with the title. My reign will always be one of the best years of my life so far. And just the opportunity, like now getting to compete at Worldwide super soon and representing America, like that is a huge deal for me personally. And I think just the opportunities that this platform provided me, especially at the young age at which I competed. Dharmatma Uncle, Neelamanti, just this entire place they've created for girls to really discover themselves. It's incredible. So I feel like the rain has added on to me. So it's a little less difficult to leave it behind because it is part of me forever. So yeah.
So sweet. So post pageant, let's talk about your post pageant life.
Yeah.
What are your future goals now? Whether it be education wise, extracurricular wise, what are you focusing more on now?
Yeah, so of course, like right now, academics is the primary thing in my life. And I think that happens when you enter high school and things, pick up pace. So that is my focus right now. And I'm just trying to make sure that I'm able to give my best to that and, try my best with that. And on the side, I'm continuing my dancing, my singing, because those are the things I do for my sanity. And without them, I would not be okay. So, yeah, I keep those things going. And I think one of my biggest goals right now is definitely the worldwide pageant because I've been waiting really long to participate. And I started when I was 13 and I'm 16 now. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to represent my country. So I'm going to have to start preparing and thinking about that.
You mentioned dancing and singing and how that's so important for your, sanity. And I get it because,
Yeah.
academics are not the end all be all, right? But what would you say to those parents, particularly South Asian parents, who do, extra emphasize academics and forget that children also need to have something on the side to take their mind off of other things? And also, it's okay to pursue a career that is not academically driven, right? Like whether it
Yeah.
be any type of sport. So what would you tell parents like that?
No, I think you pointed out the South Asian community, and I think that's spot on because within our community, academics are valued very highly. And I think I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of people I've met whose parents don't exactly give them the opportunity to explore other fields. And I'm very lucky that my parents have always encouraged me to, take arts and take academics and go with them side by side. But for many kids, that's not an option. But what my message would be is that a person needs to be well rounded, not just for the community, but for themselves. Because there's times in life when you get bored doing something and you need something else, which makes your heart happy. And yeah, if someone decides to pursue a career in something which is not exactly academic in nature, if it makes them happy and if they think it's sustainable for them and fits in with their life, then there should be nothing which stops them from that.
Well, speaking about dancing and singing, making your heart happy, I know
Mhm.
that you and your mom actually dance together because your mom has a dance school, correct?
Yes, no, my mom is a dancer ever since a very young age, and yeah, so I currently run a dance school, and we often collaborate with each other, and it's just great because it's one way to connect with my mom, and
Mm.
dance is something which really unites us. So yeah.
And for those of you watching, if you have not watched Sidhya and her mom dance yet, please go on Sidhya's Instagram and watch that video because they are amazing. But I did want to ask you, Sidhya, out of all of the collaborations that you did with your mom, what was the best dance that you think you guys did together?
Okay, this is a hard one, but I think last Navratri we did a dance, Chogada, very popular song, but that was very fun because we put it together in one day. We decided to go and record it, and it turned out so good. And there was just so much love from everyone when we posted it. And yeah, I think that was very fun because it was at the peak of the pandemic. We were losing our minds, and we said, let's choreograph a dance, let's record it. And it went really well. So yeah,
That's so cute. And that video was so amazing. But
thank you.
coming off of, you collaborating with your mom and bonding with her a lot through dance, right? I know that you are pretty close to your mom and your parents and your family. So what is the one thing that your parents have always taught you and that you've kept close and you've always gone back to, thinking about that every time you approach a life situation?
Yeah, I think they've always emphasized being grounded. And when it comes to being grounded, I think in terms of when you accomplish something, it's often easy to get very caught up with that. And that happens to all of us to varying degrees. And for me personally, that also is a problem because when you're very good at something or when you discover something new, you tend to get really caught up in that and you lose yourself sometimes. So it's really important to have those core values, those core beliefs, because those are what make us who we are. And just coming back to them, touching base with what we are, what our goals are, that's very helpful. And I think it has helped me so far, and it's going to be something which I'll continue to apply throughout my life as I face new circumstances and really have to touch base with who I am and what I believe. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I wanted to end with this one final question because, fellow woman talking to another woman, I feel like we need to end with some sort of, woman empowerment type of question.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you about feminism because there's actually a lot of talk right now. I don't know if I'm the only one hearing it, but there is a lot of talk right now about how feminism is mostly about, women always trying to support women, but feminism is really about just equality, right? No one's trying to
Yeah.
bring anyone down. So what is feminism to you and what would you say to people who don't really understand the importance of feminism?
Yeah, no, I think the talk about feminism needs to be amplified a little bit more because many people just jump to the conclusion that if you're a feminist, you want women to be better than men or women to have better opportunities than men. But that is not true. And despite progress in certain countries, like in America, we're seeing more progress than if you compare it to a country like India. But there's a lot of advocates. And the problem we're facing is that we cannot ignore the fact that women are facing more issues than men when it comes to pay and everything. It's an underlying problem within many different systems. And again, it's to varying degrees in different countries, different areas. But I think advocating for equality is a basic right. It is a human right. And feminists are just out there trying to strike some change, strike the talk about it so that people are able to, take a stand and, go ahead and advocate for equality. So I think it's something which we need to really stand by, especially being women. And even if you're not, it's very important to acknowledge that this is an underlying systemic problem and we need to beat that.
That was so well said. You're so well spoken. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Well, jumping to another section, a fun section, rapid fire round. We've done this together before.
Many times, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that this time you'll get caught off guard and I will win. But we'll see.
Let's see. We'll see about that, Isha.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so basically how this round works, I'll ask you a question, you have to answer as fast as you can. You can't really think for that long. Okay.
Okay.
What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
Are you a mommy's girl or a daddy's girl?
Both.
What is the most expensive thing that you own?
I'm thinking. I would say my phone.
Okay. Your favorite vacation place?
Cancun.
Ooh, I've never been.
It's an amazing place.
Okay, now it's on my list.
Yes.
Who do you admire the most?
I would say my parents.
What is one thing on your bucket list for your life?
One thing on my bucket list is to probably go on like a worldwide trip, because that's something which I definitely want to do.
Love that. Do you have a hidden talent? If so, please show us your hidden talent.
I would say my only hidden talent is overthinking, so I can't exactly display that. But yes, it exists very much.
Same. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Okay. It's weird, but people chewing loudly.
Okay, I get that one because it's also
yeah.
Okay, my last one. If I were to ever visit you in your home state, where would be the first place that you'd take me?
Snoqualmie Falls. It is a place which is very well known in Washington, and every time we have a relative come over, we show them Snoqualmie Falls. So definitely I would be taking you there. It's a beautiful place.
So now that you've completed multiple pageants and have also been a pageant queen, what is your message that you'd like to give to all of the other young women who want to enter pageantry?
I would say don't hesitate at all. It's going to change your life. It's going to change your life for the better. Whether you win the crown or not, you win so much more with the relations you make, the connections you form, and also just the experiences. Like, it's so much fun. And I think there's a lot of stigma, especially in the South Asian community. Like, a lot of my friends, they ask me why I'm competing in pageantry. They ask me, it's just a bunch of high heels and makeup and a crown and a sash. What is it truly? But everyone finds something different through it. And for some people, like for you, example, Isha, you really took it up and did like a lot of mental health advocacy, and you really like made an impact through it, which is incredible, first of all. But like, I think everyone can really draw something from pageantry, and to find your true goal, to find your purpose, and to gain confidence in everything. It's very important to, step out of your comfort zone, and pageantry is a great way to do that.
I love that. But going off of that, what would you say to all of the Mrs. contestants? Because I feel like we do need to encourage young women, but we also need to encourage all of the, Miss and Mrs. contestants who want to enter pageantry, because again, they might be hesitating and they might be thinking that it's not for them. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, when it comes to Miss and Mrs. contestants, I certainly feel like teens, they usually have their moms with them. And even Miss contestants, most of them have like a lot of friends around. But for Mrs. contestants, especially, they're usually managing a family. They're managing their jobs, they're managing their household. And then they also have this, and they're giving some time to themselves. And I always look at the Mrs. contestants with awe, because the way they balance everything is just incredible. Like for us teens, we do school, we come home and we do these kind of stuff. But for them, there's a lot of commitments. So I think, yeah, pageantry is definitely like not a one size fits all for everyone. There's always some opportunity, something they can gain through it. And giving yourself that time, investing that energy to, grow yourself and expose yourself to this. It's great for people from all age groups and all walks of life.
That was so well said. And I hope if we have any contestants watching this episode, then I hope you have encouraged them to enter pageantry, because it truly is life-changing. But I want you to talk more about your crowning moments, just so that we can encourage the audience a little bit more. Talk to us about how you felt standing on that stage, listening to your name. How was that whole journey for you?
Well, for me, first of all, you were on stage and I was like, oh my God, Isha, Miss Teen India USA. And then they said my name and I was like really busy praying God. And I was like, I want to win, I want to win. And when it happened, it was unreal. Like I've never been that like shocked and excited in my life. Because like I said, first of all, like every girl is so talented that you never really know until the crowning moment who's going to win. And out of the top five, I very well knew that my chance of winning was equivalent to anyone else's. It was really just up to like answering the questions. And it's also when it's your day, you know, like there's also that luck factor which plays into it. So I think, yeah, just getting my name called was incredible for me. And I felt so happy and so thankful for everything. Yeah.
Isn't the worst part when they start playing that like heartbeat sound when you're on
I
stage?
know.
Kills me.
Exactly.
I want to end with you giving our viewers something inspirational to think about, right? Because we're still living in trying times. You know, we have the COVID pandemic and we have a bunch of other things happening. So what is one thing that you want everyone to walk away with after watching?
Well, I mean, since this is kind of related to pageantry, and through pageantry, the one thing I learned was my love for community service. And I would definitely want to share that with all our viewers because we often get caught up thinking about ourselves. We get very, self centered in a different way. We are so caught up with our work, our job, everything like that. And it's often easy to forget that there's people who are in worse situations than us, maybe economically, socially, mentally, emotionally. And we just need to find ways to support them. And of course, they say wear your own oxygen mask before helping others. So mental health is also a big part of it so that you're able to enable yourself to make an impact. And you don't need to be starting a nonprofit organization, which is going to change the world. You can simply donate cupcakes to a shelter. You can send messages to people. Just try to spread positivity in whatever way you can, because like you said, Isha, these are trying times. So anything you do will make an impact.
Cynthia, I want to ask you before we end this episode, what will be your final words to our worldwide viewers?
I would just like to start by saying thank you so much to Mana TV International for creating this incredible platform for girls like me to come and express our opinions, and for making this amazing show in conjunction with the Miss Mrs. Teen India USA pageant, which is by Dharmatma Uncle and Neelam Auntie. And once again, I would also like to thank Menka Auntie, the coordinator of the Miss Teen India Washington pageant, and all the people in our pageant family for creating this amazing, open environment for everyone to thrive.
That was so beautiful. That was so encouraging and uplifting too. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for joining us. And I hope you had as much fun as I did catching up with you after so long.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Isha, for having me today.
And thank you to our viewers for watching The Crown Memories with the Dream. Please do subscribe to Mana TV's YouTube channel, and please do go to Mana TV's Facebook channel to watch this entire episode. Thank you, and see you again next week.